The Kushites are from ancient Kush, which is modern-day Sudan, just south of Egypt. They were builders, gold workers, and warriors. Today, the Kushites have been all but forgotten because of the color of their skin. Greek and Roman writers referred to the region as Ethiopia, land of the burnt-faced people, in reference to the indigenous people's black skin.
We're taking an exciting journey back in time to explore the incredible Kingdom of Kush, an ancient African civilization that flourished along the Nile River in what is now Sudan. Often overshadowed by its neighbor Egypt, Kush was a powerful and influential kingdom with a rich cultural heritage and remarkable achievements. Number 1. The Kingdom of Kush experienced 3 distinct periods. Kerma period, circa 2500 to 1500 BCE, known for its rich culture and strong trade relations with Egypt. Napatan period, circa 750 to 542 BCE, when Kushite kings ruled as pharaohs of Egypt's 25th dynasty. Meroitic period, circa 542 BCE to 350 CE, marked by the move of the capital to Meroe and the development of a unique script. Number 2. Kushite kings conquered and unified Egypt under their rule, establishing the 25th dynasty circa 744 to 656 BCE. Notable pharaohs include Piye, Shabaka, and Tahaka, who are celebrated for revitalizing Egyptian culture and architecture. Number 3. Kush was abundant in gold, iron ore, and precious stones. The kingdom became a significant trade center, connecting sub-Saharan Africa, Egypt, and the Mediterranean. They traded gold, ivory, ebony, and exotic animals. Number 4. The Kushites developed the Meroitic script, one of the earliest written languages in Africa, aside from Egyptian hieroglyphs. Despite efforts, this script remains only partially deciphered, keeping many aspects of Kushite history a mystery. Number 5. The Kushites successfully resisted Roman expansion. After a series of conflicts known as the Meroitic Wars, they negotiated a peace treaty with Rome around 21 BCE, which was favorable to Kush and lasted for centuries. Number 6. The Kingdom of Kush declined around the 4th century CE, possibly due to overexploitation of resources, desertification, and pressure from neighboring kingdoms like Aksum. Its legacy persists in the rich archaeological sites and its influence on African and world history.
No, I have been shouting out the mighty African empire of Kush. You may be thinking, well, what's so special about Kush? Well, let's talk about one thing to begin with. It existed for 2,700 years. You have to compare that to the average life of an empire throughout the history of the world is somewhere between 350 and 400 years. Kush, 2,700 years. Not only that, Kush defeated 3 well-known major empires. Egypt went to battle with them multiple times over a 3,000-year period, ultimately defeated them and ruled over Egypt in the year 1047 BCE. Persia, in the year 530 BC, Persia was the most powerful empire on the planet Earth. It decided that one day it was going to come in there and take over Kush. Why? Kush had gold. The word Nubia is an Egyptian term which means gold. Nub is an Egyptian term. So everyone knew about Kush's gold, and Persia said, we're going to come down there and get some gold. It didn't work out for them. That mighty empire got turned around in the middle of the desert, got lost in a desert storm. We learned this by way of Herodotus, who is a Greek historian, tells us about Cambyses II, who is the son of Cyrus the great ruler of Persia. He comes down there to take over and to get Kush and to get its gold. They end up getting caught in the middle of a desert storm. They suffer such great loss, they have to turn around, and on the way back, the loss is so severe that they have to resort to cannibalism. Couldn't get none from Kush, not Persia. And then lastly, Rome. We all know about the mighty Roman Empire. We all know about Caesar Augustus. There was one African empire that met the Roman army on the field and defeated them. And of course, again, that's Kush. In the year 24 BCE, and one of Kush's last great walks in the sun, was being ruled by a person by the name of Amanirenas, a one-eyed female queen, or as she was called in terms of her title, a Kandake. The English rendering of that name is Candace. 24 BCE, the general Publius Petronius, who was the governor of Egypt at that time, the Roman governor of Egypt, comes down there with his warfare machinery all in array. And this one-eyed ruler, Amanirenas, inspires her people and brings out those mighty archers that we've been talking about for the last 6 weeks, and go to war with the most powerful army on planet Earth and fight them to a draw, to the point that Caesar Augustus himself enters into a deal with them, a stalemate, and gives them everything that they're asking for. And prior to that, Kush had to pay tribute to Rome, and all nations were paying tribute to Rome. The deal that Amanirenas worked out with Augustus was so sweet. Part of that involved Rome giving back to Kush the monies and the resources and whatever else they gave by way of tribute, giving it back to them. And again, that is what makes Kush worthy of our consideration. That is what makes Kush worthy of our study. And I'm sure that that is why, to some degree, Kush has been intentionally left out of many textbooks that deal with great empires, that deal with great civilizations, because Kush was powerful, and Kush is a powerful example and a powerful source of inspiration to people of color, particularly African Americans. Check out Kush, research Kush.
So remember, ancient Kush is the parent of ancient Kemet. Because it's your parent don't mean you see eye to eye on everything. And you're not fighting all the time. Do Europeans fight against other Europeans? Right now, Russia is fighting Ukraine. They're two white nations. But if two black nations fight, there's something wrong with that. No. If you have a disagreement, sometimes you got to go to war. But let me say this. Nubia was their allies more than they were their enemy.
Right.
Okay. So you had certain kings. The problem they had with Nubia is that they wanted Nubia's gold and didn't want to pay for it. See, the gold was coming out of Kush. That's what the word Nub means. Nubu is the word for gold. So Nubians means people of the land of the gold. Nubia means the land of the gold. That's a modern name. They didn't call it that. It was ancient Kush, Ta-Seti, Nahesi. It had other names.
Kush was known by its enemies as Ta-Seti, which means the land of the bow. And that was a reference to the fact that the Kushite archers were known for being very skillful. They could put a bow and arrow right in the center of a person's eyeball from 300 yards away. They were sharpshooters. Today they would be snipers. They were feared and revered and loathed at the same time by the Egyptians. They were recruited by the Egyptians to be essentially secret service for the pharaohs. They were recruited by the Greeks to serve as mercenaries. They were recruited by the Persians to serve as mercenaries. They were recruited by the Assyrians. These brothers were bad to the bone. Ta-Seti, the land of the bow.
The Kush Empire, also known as the Nubian Kingdom, was a powerful ancient African civilization that emerged around the 8th century BCE in what is now Sudan. The empire was centered on the region of Nubia, situated along the Nile River south of Egypt. Amanirenas was a queen of Kush around 40 to 10 BCE during the Napata period. She is known for her victory at the Battle of the Nile. In 23 BCE, the Roman general Petronius led an army into Kush and conquered the capital city of Napata. Amanirenas responded by leading a Kushite army against the Romans. The two armies met in battle at the Battle of the Nile, where the Kushites were victorious. The victory at the Battle of the Nile was a major turning point in the conflict between Kush and Rome. The Romans were forced to withdraw from Kush, and Amanirenas was able to regain control of Napata. Amanirenas' story serves as a testament to the strength and power of women in positions of leadership in ancient Africa. The Kushites were known for a number of advances. The Kushites were skilled engineers, and they built a number of impressive structures, including pyramids, temples, and dams. Their dams were particularly impressive, and they helped to control flooding and irrigate crops. The Kushites established well-organized urban centers, such as Meroe and Napata, with planned layouts, paved streets, and public infrastructure.
In the 1st century BCE, a fearless queen emerged to defend her kingdom. Rome had invaded the Kingdom of Kush, but Amanirenas, Queen of Kush, stood undaunted. Amanirenas and her warriors clashed swords with the powerful Roman Empire, defeating them in battle and reclaiming their land. Amanirenas, a brilliant diplomat and fierce warrior, negotiated the return of her kingdom's lands through a peace treaty. The Romans, humbled by her strength, withdrew their forces, restoring the southern border of Egypt to Kush. She was a warrior queen who successfully fought against the Roman invaders and reclaimed the lands of her kingdom. Amanirenas is a story that portrays courage, diplomacy, and victory.